Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Something very important happened yesterday, which would be 2 days before you're seeing this video, the day after I'm recording it. But you may not know about it. That's why I want to talk about it and explain the implications for the president, because this is very serious for Joe Biden. So first of all, in case you didn't know, because it's really astounding the lengths to which our Praetorian press has been going, to the liberal press, to protect the president, to bury any negative news about the president and his problems and the scandals and the bribery and on and on and on. So the Hunter Biden, as I would hope you know, he was charged, well, he's potentially charged with two felonies: tax evasion and illegal, lying on a gun application. Which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. But he's getting, or he was supposed to get, a sweetheart deal. That's what critics have been calling it, a sweetheart deal, where he pleads to, for the taxes, he pleads to two misdemeanors, and nothing happens to him on the gun charge. He's on probation, what they call diversion, that as long as he stays clean for 2 years, the entire thing would be wiped off his record. And that's what the plea was supposed to be entered before a judge yesterday, and the day before I'm recording this. And usually these things are just rubber stamped. The prosecution, the defense, they agree on a deal, and the judge just rubber stamps it. But obviously, as the judge pointed out, that's the main reason why this is creating such a problem for the Bidens and for Democrats, because we have an honest, brave, and smart judge, especially smart. And she asked some important questions that the attorneys did not want asked. And the main implication is this. First of all, I'm just going to throw this in an aside, how they're protecting the president. They're protecting Biden, Hunter, to protect the president. That's what, first of all, not to embarrass the president by having his son in jail, but also because the evidence in Hunter Biden trial leads directly to Joe Biden, and that's what they're worried about, and that's what they're trying to stop. So, for instance, the bulk of the tax evasion occurred in the years 2014 and 2015. The statute of limitations ran out. But here's something so he's never going to be prosecuted for those crimes. But here's what I learned just yesterday, that the Justice Department could have, had they wanted to, they could have extended the statute of limitations. Then he could be charged, but they didn't. So that's one indication of how corrupt this government is. But here's the kicker, the problem it's creating for the Bidens, for Joe Biden and the Democrats, and it's this. The deal was, as I said, the printed deal, the deal on paper was that Hunter would plead to two misdemeanors on the tax charges, and he would essentially skate on the gun charge. Now, the problem is that there was another agreement, a verbal agreement, that it was not printed, and that was that this would close all matters, that anything else, any future matters, for instance, especially Hunter Biden being charged under the FARA, the Foreign Agent Registration Act, for which violating Paul Manafort is serving a 5-year jail sentence. So this agreement would have closed that off, and Hunter would never be charged for that. And think of the implications. Hunter Biden, an unregistered foreign agent representing especially Ukraine, but especially China, living in the White House and being the son of the President of the United States. Can you just appreciate the implications of that? So the idea was to close that all off, but that's one side of the ledger, but the other side of the ledger is that Congress has been, the House, that thank God the Republicans took over, have been subpoenaing or getting them to come involuntarily, has been questioning people such as Chris Wray about evidence of all this corruption and bribery regarding the president, or that would lead to the president. And their answer has always been, well, there's an ongoing investigation, so I can't comment. And that's been their go-to way to shut off any questioning. Just say, well, there's an investigation going on, I can't comment on that. And so you take back to the courtroom yesterday. So the judge asked, because it wasn't in printing, but she asked the government, the prosecutors, is everything closed? And there are no ongoing investigations, such as for violating FARA. And the prosecutors said, this is when it all blew up. The prosecutors said there are ongoing. There's at least one ongoing investigation, and that's when it all blew up, because the defense, Biden's Hunter's lawyers, thought that this was all a done deal, that he wouldn't be charged with anything else. But this is the problem, in case it's not clear by now. This is the problem that Biden, the president, and his son, and the whole caboodle of criminals has, and that's if the prosecutor, for Biden, for this deal to go through, the prosecutor would have had to say, there are no more investigations. We are not in no more ongoing investigations. The minute they say that, though, then Congress can call all these people back in there who have been saying, well, I can't comment because there's an ongoing investigation, and say, okay, well, the Justice Department and the prosecutors in the Hunter Biden case, they just said there are no more ongoing investigations, so no more excuse, answer our questions. But then you're going to get a lot of questions. They lead to Joe Biden. So that's on one side. On the other side, if they say that there is an ongoing investigation, so that could shut off the questioning by Congress, but then the whole deal falls apart. And that's what happened. Biden's Hunter's attorney stood up and say, okay, well, if there's then the deal is dead. That's it. It's all gone. And Hunter then changed his plea or he pled not guilty. So I think, and the judge gave them some time, a few weeks, whatever, talk among yourselves, try to work something out. But yeah, obviously we have two, an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, because you get two contrary things, and if either one goes through, then the president is in trouble, and that's a dilemma they're facing. And the judge also, they put the cherry on the ice cream sundae. She said, okay, well, the punishment, pleading a couple of to a couple of misdemeanors, and essentially probation for the gun charge. I don't know if I'm going to agree to that, because that seems like a very light sentence for what he's done, and for what he's pleading guilty to, which means that there's no doubt that he did it. If he's admitting that he did it, if he pleads guilty. And then she said a couple of times, more than once, I'm getting the feeling that you're just expecting me to rubber stamp this and not ask any questions. Sorry, I'm not going to rubber stamp it. I am going to ask questions. And on top of that, she ordered Biden to undergo periodic drug testing and to get a job. So I don't know, maybe Burisma is still hiring. We'll see how that works out for him. But you can see the mess that they're in. And what I want to see is, I would love it to go to trial. He can plead not guilty if he thinks he did nothing wrong, but he was about to admit that he did. But just go to trial. We'll have discovery. Everything will come out. The prosecution will get any information they want, including things that lead to Joe Biden, and that's it. Or stick to, plead guilty, but you're going to be probably prosecuted under FARA, and it means that there's an admission by the government, the prosecutors, that there are no more investigations, and then we'll have, then all these people who are refusing to answer Congress's questions about whatever the ones that when they were refusing on the grounds that there was an ongoing investigation, that goes away, and they'll have to answer the questions or be held in contempt of Congress. So you can see the situation they're in, and you can see by my smile how much I'm enjoying this. And I guess if you're not a liberal, if you're anybody but a liberal, then you're enjoying this too. As far as for your liberals, you liberals who may be watching this, I have all the sympathy for you that you have for Donald Trump, and I'll just leave it at that. That's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. Would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.